All right, gentlemen, with this one right here, we are on the heavy, and we are going to be getting into our Melta Definitive Build Guide 8.0. So with this build right here that you're looking at, this is going to be our Survivalist build, and we're also going to get into a high damage build as well. So we're going to talk about everything you're seeing here on your screen. We're going to talk about some different variations of the Melta rifle itself that you're going to want to take a look at. And overall, when it's coming to this build right here, the Survivalist build, which we're going to look at first, the blue perks are going to be more of your passive type of perks, and the green perks are going to be the ones you're really going to want to look at, pay attention to, because they are going to be the ones that you have to activate yourself by doing certain things. So when it comes to this build overall, it's going to give you amazing damage reduction. It's going to help you avoid a lot of chip damage, which really helps in something like Siege. And it has very, very good contested health gain and great armor gain. So we're going to get into the class build itself, and then we'll take a look at the Melta and go through some of that and how you want to spec that out. Okay, we are only paying attention to our class build here. We will talk about the prestige perks later on in the video, and then you can mix and match and take those how you see fit. So when we're starting here with our core perks, we are taking Restoration, and this is something that we're tying with the Melta to make sure that we get armor segments, and we're going to be able to gain back 3 armor every 30 seconds. And then we're going to be at Strategic Stand here to give us our knockback resistance and grab 15% more contested health, as well as overwhelming power. And we are taking our 25% ranged damage reduction for the entire team. He has extremely good team perks, guys, overall. Then we have Adamant Will here. This is where we are going to be activating and deactivating our cloak as much as we can when we are not using it overall for our, damage protection, because this is going to help us keep us at 20% damage reduction. Then we have Power Regulator. We are going to have Brute Force, which is going to give us our 15% range damage when we're in cooldown, and we're going to have our 10% when it is up. So that is another reason why you want to be in and out of your Iron Halo. So you are keeping your damage reduction up, and you are keeping your your damage up and your damage reduction up as well. And then we're going to finish things off with offensive capability. The AoE on this really helps with the vines on the ground. It'll destroy all them, and it does help with spore mines, destroying them before they can actually get to you. So the build, very, very good. You're going to enjoy this build, I guarantee it. It's going to get you through a lot of the waves in Siege, and it will get you through Absolute with absolutely no problem. So as I said, make sure you are going through and you are activating all of these green perks. You're going to be able to gain 3 armor every 30 seconds if you are killing, 7 enemies, which you're always going to be doing that. Every time you execute an extremist, you will gain ammo. You will have that prestige perk. That is a must take, and we will talk about that in the prestige perks. You will have major kills with your gun, so you have to kill it with the gun. You can't execute them or, anything like that. You have to kill them with the gun itself. You will gain back ammo every 30 seconds. You have a major execute that will give you 25% damage for 10 seconds. A finisher is going to increase your fire rate for by 25% for 5 seconds. And then, as I said, every time you deactivate your cloak, you are going to have 20% damage reduction. So those are the things that you have to pay attention to, and make sure you're activating yourself and taking advantage of these as much as you possibly can. And then our next build here we're going to take a look at is going to be our damage variant build. And for the Melta itself, we're really not changing much on the specs at all. We're still speccing it out the same. And honestly, that whole bottom row there, guys, because you're going to spec out the whole top row of the Melta as you're seeing, that bottom row, you're going to take any one that you think is going to benefit you most. They're all going to be good. So just make sure you take the whole top row and you're going to be good. And then just kind of set the bottom up what you think is best for you. But we are going to have a good amount of changes in our class perks here, because we're going to want to complement our Melta, which is now in the fire rate version. So we will have some less ammo. Okay, for our overall class perks here, we're just going to go through the ones that we're switching off from the Survivalist build. We're going to have multi-kill to keep our ammo up when we're killing 5 or more enemies. We're switching off to Fortitude to grab 30% increased health. But Strategic Stand is still a good one, so that one is a preference thing. I would recommend going down to additional supplies now to grab the extra ammunition with the fire rate version. It is very ammo hungry, and especially at the fire rate that you have, you can go through your ammunition very quickly, so this will help out a lot. And then another thing for maximum damage here is you're going to switch off to consecutive execution to grab your equipment charge every 90 seconds. You really want to get your hands on a Melta, but from there, just grab whatever you think is going to benefit you most. I would say frag and shock nades, and then when you can get a Melta, get your hands on one of those. And then everything else right here is pretty much the same, but your damage overall is just going to take a huge uptick due to the fact that you are now running the fire rate version of the Melta instead of the ammo version. Like I said, you are going to notice the difference. I think you start with about 10 less ammo, so it's a noticeable difference, but so is the damage and all of the stagger you cause, and your contested health gain is still very good. So very strong build. It's going to be a preference thing, and when you start surviving very well with the survivalist build, maybe that might be a time to start switching to this to grab yourself some extra damage and just try it out. Okay, when it comes to the Melta rifle itself here, the top two versions we already talked about. It's going to be your fire rate version on top, your ammo version in the middle, but the one on the bottom is going to be the one you're going to want to look at here, and that is going to be your max survival build. So if you're having a lot of problems with survivability, you're going to end up switching to this one. You will lose damage, but now you will gain the ability to gain 10% health when you are under 30% every time that you execute a major level or higher enemy. So anytime you're getting low on health, you're going to start executing as many majors as you can, and that's going to continuously keep you going back to 30% health. So anybody who has problems surviving with the armor version that you're seeing there in the middle, switch down to the survival version. You're going to lose some damage. It's going to be noticeable, but not extremely noticeable to where the gun's like horrible or anything, and you will gain some more survivability when you get very low on health. Overall, guys, when it's coming to the Melta on the heavy, it is one of the top builds in the entire game. Sometimes I think it's better than the plasma, and sometimes I don't think it's better than the plasma. It's literally that good. So very strong build to run. And if you guys are looking for a setup to work with this ugly helmet that they gave us, this is it right here, man. You put it on the heavy, you grab both of those shoulder pads, and then you're going to be looking pretty slick. But overall, guys, great build. A lot of fun to run, and I guarantee you will go through the hardest content in the game with either one of these builds that you've seen. Okay, and quickly looking at our prestige perks, the two must take, I'm saying, is Conviction and Auxiliary Reload. So if you're playing the hardest content of the game, you're going to want the damage reduction, and then on top of that, you're going to need the ammo back from Extremists. So honestly, guys, you have to be kind of stingy when it comes to Extremists. Trust me, you're helping your group out a lot, unless you are like hurting somebody, like you have a Vanguard in your team that's giving you 30% more health. That's the only time you really want to be concerned about letting other people get the Extremists, because overall, you getting the Extremist kill is going to benefit the team more. You're getting a lot of ammo back. I think it's like 8, and you can kill so many enemies with that amount of ammo, and there's so many Extremists on the map that you can really stack up the amount of ammo that you are getting back. So these two right here, you're going to want to take for sure, Conviction and Auxiliary Reload, anytime you are running the hardest content in the game. And now when it comes to these other two, these are the ones you're kind of going to have the luxury of switching to what is going to benefit you most. So for most people, I think it's going to be Duelists and possibly Indomitable Spirit. These two are going to give you, this is going to give you knockback resistance from gun strikes, which will help with higher waves, and then this is going to give you your increased block and parry windows. Now, if you don't need the block and parry windows, so kind of if you're more higher skilled in the game, you probably won't need this because you can kind of avoid gun strikes. Then you can go with Reverberating Impact and your melee damage one as well. So you would take the first two we talked about, which are Conviction and Auxiliary Reload. And then if you are like more skilled and you don't need Duelist, take these two. And then even if you do need Duelist, the area of effect radius one is not a bad choice to take with Duelist if you don't want to take the no knockback while you're doing gun strikes. So because Duelist is a strong one for anybody newer in the game, Duelist is going to help you out a lot. And then just anybody struggling with perfect parries at all, Duelist is just going to help you out a lot. So you can always take this one and then, you know, pair it up with either Reverberating Impact or Indomitable Spirit. I would recommend one of those two. because the increased radius does help a lot with just clearing everything out around you. The main thing is, though, when you are running with the Melta here, you don't have much concern about like crowd control around you. The Melta is going to deal with all of the crowd control. Just by you trying to shoot the majors, you're automatically dealing with the crowd control with the majors. So that's why these two aren't as important with the Melta as they kind of are with like the plasma and the heavy bolter. So, you know, Duelist and Indomitable Spirit aren't a bad option for these two right here, guys, if you are running the Melta as we are in this video. So, as I said before, though, Conviction, Auxiliary Reload, always have these two on there. Definitely when you are playing in any harder difficulties, you're going to take advantage of both of those a lot.
Engaging elite countermeasures. Iron Halo online.
We have reports of a command presence on the battlefield. You may be in for a challenging fight.
Prioritizing targets.
Carnifex on the battlefield!
Ready our boots. Iron Halo protocol.
Keep your attention on the strongest threats!
Enhanced tactic ready. Calibrate your aim, brother. Conversion. Operation.
Terminate!
Self-trio. Iron Halo ready. Forward for a contact. Ready anti-battle package. Maximize efficiency by attacking the strongest foes.
Augurs no longer detect any high-profile targets.
Enhanced tactic ready.